Hello everyone and welcome back. So this stylish dress took me approximately 40 minutes to make. It's a gathered off shoulder with spaghetti straps and elastic at the back. I love the details. Let me guide you on how to make a similar dress. This is the African print fabric I'll be using for this dress design. It's about 2 yards. I'm going to start with the top front part of the dress, and this is enough for that. It's about 21 inches long, which is half my bust measurement plus all the allowances I'll be needing. I'll fold it into 2, then draw a straight line at the top edge. This will be the stitching allowance, and since it's an off shoulder, I'll start measuring from 5.5 inches. Then measure my chest line at 7.5 inches, which is the bust measurement. You divide it by 6 and then you add 1.5. I'm making marks at that point. After that, I'll then draw a line. From there, I'll measure half my shoulder measurement on the first line, which is 7 inches. Also mark 7 inches on the chest line. Then draw a vertical line connecting the 2 points. And after that, I'll take quarter of my bust measurement and mark it on the chest line as well. So now I'll draw the armhole curve like that. And here guys, I'm adding 1 inch stitching allowance on the side, 0.5 inches stitching allowance at the bottom part. I'll mark it all the way to the end and then square a line across like that. And before I start cutting, I'll first come in by 1 inch at the top part, and that will be my new armhole curve. I'm doing that since the front armhole always curves inwards. And I'm also going to add half an inch stitching allowance around the armhole curve. And it's now time to cut. I'll cut on the outline as I'm showing you guys. I'm going to notch at this area, and this is what I now have for the front top part. I'll go ahead to cut out its facing first. You can decide to use a lining for the whole dress if you want. And with that, you'll need about 2 yards for the lining as well. I'm putting what I already have on another folded fabric, and I'm going to trace it out by cutting. After I'm done cutting, I'll notch at the same point I notched on the actual fabric, and I'm going to leave this aside for now as I work on the remaining front part. With me here is another folded fabric which I'll use to cut both the front and the back part. And first thing, I'll cut on the folded area. So guys, I want to work on the front part first, and I'll measure the full length starting from 7.5 inches. 2 inches for the band, and I started the off shoulder from 5.5 inches. The total length I have here is 37 inches. From there, I'm supposed to gather this whole fabric to fit in the band. And remember, this fabric is also folded. So now I'll head to my sewing machine and make gathered stitches on this top area. I've made gathered stitches, as you can see guys. There are 2 parallel loose stitches, and I'm going to use these upper strings to pull until I have the same measurement as the band. And yeah guys, this is how it looks like after forming gathers on the fabric. And moving forward, I'll pin the band on the gathered fabric starting from this end. I'll continue with the same to the other end. And after I'm done with that, I'll just head to my sewing machine again and stitch along the pinned part. Here is it after stitching. I now want to make straps before I can stitch the facing on this piece. And for the straps, I need 16 inches as length and 1.5 inches for the width. And this is even longer. So I'll fold this small piece to measure what I need for the 2 straps. And what I'm going to do next is to fold and stitch along the sides. Then I'll turn them inside out after I'm done. The straps are now ready and I've also ironed them, guys. I'll show you how to fix them on the dress. Remember, I notched at these parts. So now I'm going to pin them there together with the facing. And I'll continue pinning all the way to the other end. I'll also be fixing the second strap the same way I did for the first one. And after that, I'll just continue pinning until I'm done. And once I'm done, I'll again head to the sewing machine and stitch around the pinned area. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. After stitching to this end, I'll just turn each to its right side and then top stitch again on the facing. From there, I now want to measure the full length of the front part of the dress. This will guide me on the total length I need for the back part, since the back has no band at the top area and it's a bit low at the top compared to the front part. My full length here is 28 inches long. And then I'll also measure the remaining material, which is the back part now. Starting from the top, it's 30 inches long. That's so perfect since I'll use the extra 2 inches to fold at the top. That will be the space for the elastic band. I'll now use a safety pin to force this elastic band through the opening, that's the folded area, and I'll pass it through till the other end. And to know the measurement you need for the elastic, you take half your bust measurement minus 6 inches. The next thing, guys, is to work on the side pockets, and I'm going to measure starting from 8 inches, that's on the back part. I'll measure my half length at 16 inches, then add 2 inches down. Mark it and notch at that area. Remember, what I'm holding here is both the front and the back part. And I'll do the same also for the other side. I also have these 2 pieces for the first pocket. I'm going to cut out a little bit and I'm measuring using the palm of my hand. I'll also have it in a dome shape like this. And here I'm tracing out the second pocket from the first one. The next thing to do is to stitch the pocket pieces on that dress. I'll start with the first set. I'm going to match it on the notch like this. Stitch at that area, flip it and then top stitch again on the pocket piece. I'll also repeat the same for this other side too. I'm done stitching and here is what I have for the front part. From there, I'm going to put the back and the front together for stitching. Look keenly what I'm doing here. I'll use the facing to cover up everything for a neat finish. And then pin down, starting from top to bottom. After I'm done pinning, I'll head over to the sewing machine and stitch along the pinned area. Then also double hem at the round bottom part. And here is the final look after I was done joining the sides. The final thing I'm going to do now is to fix the straps at the back area of the dress. And I'll just put a mark at the center, like this. Then measure 3.5 inches on each side of the mark. That will be the point I'll be stitching the straps on. And the straps are to be stitched from inside like this. And guys, I'm also going to stick the facing using a hemming gum. If you find this tutorial helpful or interesting and you'd like to see similar videos in the future, kindly subscribe, like and leave a comment.